Late one night, a young man was driving home along a dark country road. It was Saturday night, and it was raining. As he rounded a long curve, his headlights lit up a young woman standing at the side of the road. She was wearing a white dress and was wet from the rain. He thought he knew what had happened. The girl had quarreled with her date and had chosen to walk home rather than stay with the guy. The young man skidded to a stop before the young woman even raised her hand to thumb a ride. He leaned over, opened the door for her to get in. She slid into the seat and shut the door. With a smile, she said, "Would you take me home? I live just a mile down the road." It was then when he noticed really how pretty she was. He almost couldn't think of anything to say. She was so pretty. He said sure, or something like that, and took off his leather jacket and offered it to her. She leaned forward, and he draped it around her shoulders. It was too crowded in the front seat for her to put her arms into the seats. The boy dropped the car into gear, as he still hadn't really thought of anything to say, when they passed the church and the graveyard, and came to a 2-story house. "This is my house," she said. They stopped, and he got out and walked to the door. They stood looking at each other for a moment, and before he could think of a way to ask for a kiss, she leaned over and kissed him. He was so surprised that she had opened the screen door, opened the front door, and gone inside before he could speak. He realized that she was still wearing his leather jacket, and for a moment he thought about knocking the door. But the house was dark. Her parents were probably asleep, and she might get in trouble for coming in so late if he woke them. Besides, the jacket gave him the perfect excuse to see her again. Sunday morning, about time for church, he came back to the house and he knocked on the door. A tired, sad-looking woman answered. He asked if he could talk to the lady's daughter. "My daughter is dead," said the woman. "She died a year ago last night in a car wreck down the road, a mile or so at the long curve." "That's not possible," said the young man. "I gave her a ride home last night." "If you don't believe me," said the woman, "go look for yourself. She's buried in the graveyard there, in the 3rd row." The young man walked to the cemetery. In the 3rd row of headstones, he found what he was looking for. A pink marble headstone was inscribed with the name Laurie, and over the rounded corners of the stone was his leather jacket.